Planning your next cruise vacation, here's something that you're probably not planning for. Planning your next cruise vacation, you're probably planning on going to the exact ports that you signed up for and that you're gonna pay for, but guess what? There's a good chance you might not make it to all of those ports. Hey everybody, it's Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser, where I go on a weekend cruise just about every weekend, and I think this is a little bit of a secret or something we don't talk about in the cruising community because we're so accustomed to it. I go on a lot of cruises, and this happens to me all the time. But if this is your first sailing, I have seen a lot of people really disappointed when they're not able to do the cruise that they signed up for. And what I mean by that is that the cruise lines reserve the right to prioritize our safety, to put us first. And because of that, they will cancel cruises, they'll cancel ports, they'll cancel excursions. There's all sorts of things that they can cancel when you come on a cruise ship, and you're gonna have to know to run with those punches. But we're gonna talk about some pro tips to help you be able to navigate those waters should this happen to you. Now, the first thing we wanna talk about is what will actually cause a cruise to be canceled or a port to be canceled. The first thing that we're gonna talk through there is day of weather. So if you are going into a port and the weather is horrible, especially if you are on a tender boat and you're expecting a ferry boat to come and pick you up, or maybe they're using the survival craft from the ship to take you into that port, that's where I'd say you've got like a 50-50 shot of making it into that port. So keep that in mind when you're saying, I really want to go to this place. You might not make it if it is a tender. Though I will say, as I found out on my last Greek island cruise, that even on a port that you have a pier, it might get canceled because of really high winds. We didn't make it into 2 of our ports that we signed up for when we went to the Greek Islands cruise, which was really disappointing. The second way they might be canceled, and this is something you just can't plan for, and it'd be canceled even if you're going there on land, is you want to make sure you're paying attention to the natural disasters happening in the area of your cruise. If there is a port that has a natural disaster, whether it's a hurricane, an earthquake, you're looking at flooding, there's all sorts of things that could happen. That could cause the ship not to go to that port for a significant period of time. The cruise ships don't want to bring a ton of guests in when that place is not equipped or prepared to handle people since their natural disaster. So make sure that you're paying close attention to what's happening in the larger world, especially if you're cruising outside of the Caribbean. Geopolitical is another one that, if you book your cruise like I do a year and a half, 2 years in advance, you're not thinking about what's the geopolitical situation going to be in this place when you visit there. So it is something that, again, you want to make sure you're watching world news. Places that I'm looking at here that have a higher risk of this is going to be in the Middle East and Israel. If tensions start to rise there, the cruise lines will pull out and cancel those ports. I'm also going to be thinking about, Russia. Cruise lines used to go to Russia all the time, and if you were signed up for the cruises that were heading into St. Petersburg on a Baltic sailing, your port was completely canceled and you did not make it into Russia once the tensions escalated between Russia and Ukraine. And the last reason, and this is one that I really understand, the ship just breaks down. If the ship has a malfunction, if it can't sail, if it loses power, if it loses, a propulsion or an azipod or anything down there that they need to fix ASAP, they're going to cancel the cruises to do that. The latest one on this is Royal Caribbean's Radiance of the Seas that had a few sailings canceled so that she could get patched up so she'd be safe for sailing. Now, this is something that's more common in older ships, so pay attention to the age of your ship, but if it's a newer ship, it absolutely can still happen. To a lesser degree, your shore excursion could also be canceled. Now, I think the cruise lines are probably the worst culprit for this because they are trying to fill up charter buses, and if they don't get enough people on that bus, they're gonna cancel your excursion because they're not making any money. Be especially cautious if you are signing up for a moderately aggressive or aggressively athletic tour for your trip, because cruise line passengers are here to relax. They're more moderate in nature with their athleticism or their abilities, and so you're not going to see a lot of people signing up for those really challenging excursions that you can do. And I find that when I book those, they get canceled more often than the easier cruises do. If you're going through a company like Get Your Guide, and I'll put my affiliate link down in the bottom, I feel like they actually run a lot more consistently because they may be picking people up from land as well as from the ships. And they also have a reputation, like for them, they have much lower thresholds of how much money they want to make in order to run that excursion. Now let's talk about some pro tips. So should your port get canceled? Let's make sure, number one, you're paying attention. What I mean by that is on my Greek island cruise, I woke up, looked out the window, we're still floating around in the water, and I'm like, we're supposed to be docking anytime now. Hadn't heard a word from the captain or from the cruise director. Nobody said anything. And so we're getting ready to go to our excursions meeting time in the theater, and we're still not docked. And so I know we have plenty of time. We're still floating around. And I tell my family, I'm like, look, this isn't good. Like, we're probably not making it into this port at this point. If we're not already there and there's not an announcement, we're probably not gonna make it. So if you start to notice something like that from your cruise, there's two things that you can do. The first thing, if it's a nice weather day, head to the pool ASAP, because as soon as that port gets canceled, you're gonna see people flood to the pool in a speed that you have never seen before to grab and solidify their chair and their position around the pool. Make sure that you go there and wait. There's no reason why you need to go to the theater or to your meeting point if you are not even docked up and able to get off the ship. So pay attention and be open-minded. If the weather is bad, if they're canceling it because there's storms, it's rain, it's wind, head to the spa. That's what I recommend. Go ahead and book yourself a spa day. That is a great place that you can go. You're also, if you had an excursion booked with the cruise line, you're gonna get that money back credited to your account. So now you got something to pay for your massage. Another thing that I always recommend people do when they come on a cruise, especially if you come with kids who need to be entertained, make sure you have things that they can do either in the room, in the library, out and about, whether that's a board game, a puzzle, a book, their iPad. Bring some kind of entertainment, a deck of cards, so that you can try to entertain children and even some of us adults who need a lot of handling sometimes. Make sure you bring things for us to be able to do. If you forget to bring any of those things, instead of heading to the pool or to the spa, head to the library. Most ships in their library will have board games, books, puzzles in multiple different languages that you can choose from and play and still keep your family entertained while you have this extra sea day. The cruise director's staff and the cruise director activities team are also going to be putting on a ton of additional events. This is probably more of a pet peeve of them than it is for us being the cruisers, because when we cancel a port, all of a sudden they have to work an extra day that they had not counted on. And so they will very quickly be getting out announcements, updating the cruise compass, updating whatever the mobile app is for the cruise line to let you know what the new activities are. But they recognize that, hey, if you're at sea, you're gonna need something to do. And so they're gonna put forth their best effort to keep you entertained, put on some additional shows, put on some additional activities so that you have something to do on the ship. And make sure you're paying attention. Oftentimes, these are made from the hallway. So if you hear the hallway announcements comes on, make sure you're at least cracking your door so that you can hear it. If the door's fully shut, it's really muffled. Just crack it. You can even, lock the deadbolt and close it that way. Or have it so the deadbolt is up against the door but not closed, so that you can hear what the new activities are and be thinking what you want to do for your new sea day. Now, if you have not gotten to your ship yet, they'll just send you a quick email of the changes or cancellations that are happening, whether it's to your tour or it is to your ports. I just got one for an Asia trip in December. There's no recourse. I don't get to change the cruise. I don't get to cancel the cruise. I don't get any money back. It's just a change in ports. Luckily, it was a fine one, but it is a change. If you are already on the ship and your shore excursions canceled, your ports are canceled, make sure that you are staying positive. You are still on vacation, and I don't want this to ruin your experience. That's why I'm having this conversation with you now, so that you know that it can happen. Stay positive, look on the bright side, and try to enjoy your vacation. All right, everybody, this is Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser, hoping to see you on a weekend cruise soon.